administration does not need to send, does not need to put on a show, does not need to send all the troops, all the ICE officers that they do in other states, because the infrastructures here in Georgia, the statewide infrastructures that have permitted 287G, make this a place where pipelines have existed long before 2026. And I'm saying, we've often had in Gwinnett County in the top 5 or the top 20% of the deportations internally in this country. ICE out means something here, because we know that the growing immigration communities across Georgia, from the northwest, where Dalton is, to the northeast, to Gainesville, Georgia, where the Poultry plants, the metro area, where lots of raceros helped come through, where we helped build the Olympics, where we were known as Hotlanta for a good bit. Immigrants have always been recruited to this state, and they have historically stayed in areas that were built up by the African American community. In Gainesville, Georgia, where I'm from, we remember Oscarsville that was drowned by a man-made lake, where we now speak of haunted stories every single day. There's a pattern here, y'all. When laws at the Capitol, when laws federally target immigrant communities, we know what additional communities they are trying to target as well. What's going to happen with the detention centers they're trying to build after all the immigrants have been deported? Who's going to fill those permanent detention centers then? Well, I think all of us are here because we know what's at stake. We know we care for democracy. We know we don't support kings. We did not elect a king. We know that we are here to push together and to be bound in this goal to stand up against the administration, to tell them we are not worn down. And so as you march, as you go to the state capitol, I want you to remember that this is just a kickoff. I hope that by the end of today, you've made at least 3 new contacts that you're going to keep up with, that you're going to practice collective community care, that you're going to try to envision yourself in their shoes. You're not going to hit them with 1,000 questions, y'all. Get to know them. But you're going to imagine what it's like to be in each other's shoes, because y'all, we are bound together in this fight. This fight is not going to happen because of one person. There's not one single person that is ever the marker of change in history. It's all of us. And so, exactly, it's movement, and we are building something powerful here. So, who's ready to get started? Incredible. I want us to remember that there's no kings, not here. Not now, not ever. So I'm going to say no kings, and you're going to say, exactly, no kings, and you say, not here, not now, not ever. No kings? Not here. No kings? Not here. All right, Atlanta, let's give it up for the first person who I'm going to call up. And y'all, when I talk about how protest becomes participation, I'm thinking about Dr. Marjorie Pack. Dr. Pack brings scholar professor of linguistics at Emory with a PhD from the University of Pennsylvania. She knows what leadership and voter engagement looks like in practical sense. What I love about her work is that she does the everyday organizing voter engagement efforts that help make these places where people already gather. Please help me welcome Dr. Marjorie Pack of Indivisible, Georgia.
Good morning, everyone. Y'all look amazing. It's a beautiful day.
say black voters, you say matter. Black voters. So I'm here today because I need for that to be more than just a slogan or a chant. It's more than just the name of an organization or a logo. I need for us all to recognize that it's a common is at the heart for us to be here today to say no kings. Say no kings. No kings. Because at the end of the day, it's only when we protect the freedom to vote, centuries. It is only at that time that us saying that we can really recognize the sacred vote for everybody who's out here today. Say no kings. No kings. And so this is what we know about kings. They don't like elections. And so right now, what we see, the very small petty man, the person who's squatting at the White 5225. See us at the back at our table. Get involved. Keep moving forward. And if we do that, I promise we will win. Say no kings. No kings. No kings. Thank y'all.
Indeed, today is not that day. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. I'm honored to introduce our next speaker. My title for them is Culture Courage.
out against this administration. He's not only that, he's the senior pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, Savannah's very own Senator Raphael Warnock.
When we, the people, determine what kind of country we intend to be. Our nation has a complicated history. All families have a complicated story. But I believe in the American creed. This American experiment, when you consider the long arc of human history, is the exception and not the rule. This is not how power usually works in human history. This idea of a government for the people, by the people, of the people is a radical idea. I often say that democracy is the political enactment of a spiritual idea. That all of us have dignity. That each of us has value. That each of us has within ourselves a glimpse of the light. That all of us are children of God, and that makes all of us sisters and brothers, red, yellow, brown, black, and white, rich and poor, male and female, gay and straight. We are all children of the living God. We the people. That's not just the first 3 words of our charter document, it is a creed. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. And while they place those ideals in our documents, we have always had to fight for them. When they said we the people, they didn't include me. In a real sense, they didn't include women. Members of the LGBTQ community have had to stand up and say, us too, me too. We've always had to work to make America become who it says it is. But I don't know about you, I'm deeply honored that I get to be in the fight, that I get to push and prod and bend the arc toward justice. And so know that you are doing great and grand spiritual work this morning. And I mean that in the largest and grandest sense. God is known by many names, worshipped in many houses. There are those of you who claim no particular faith tradition at all, but you affirm with me that each of us has within us the light. That we have dignity, right? That we have value. And I have to say that as a pastor, part of what pains me in this moment is that too often it is religious voices that are among the meanest voices in our country. And they use religion as yet another tool in the autocratic project, in
Trump administration. Let's call it out with what it is. We have attacks on our communities and attacks on our very own Constitution that people are sworn to protect. They are trying to rewrite the truth of the 2020 election. They are cutting agencies that protect our people. And while they're doing it, our communities are paying the price. Journalists, the people who are giving us our information, are being arrested. We've seen this. We've seen this before. And when they report it, who else is doing it? ICE. ICE is terrorizing our communities, making sure that journalists are not giving you the real information that's out there. This isn't the last time, but I'm telling you what, this time is going to make a difference. Again, I'm looking at Cliff Albright. We watched for Black Lives Matter. Say it with me, Black Lives Matter.
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 And we're still seeing the same racial brutality that's happened and has plagued this country for years. It's not only happening in black communities, it's happening in our immigrant communities, it's happening in our LGBTQ communities, it's happening in all of our communities. But you know what else is happening? You're the ones who are standing up to all of these injustices at this time. And the biggest thing we need to stand up for right now is what's happening in Social Circle. They are trying to build the largest ICE detention facility in the United States, right here in Georgia. I don't think they heard you. Say it louder. We have to stop that. People are not packages. People are people. Our neighbors, our friends, our communities. They are trying to detain them. That shouldn't happen here in Georgia. That shouldn't happen anywhere in the United States. We're here to hold people accountable. We're here to make sure that your Congress does its job. Now, we're a little spoiled because we have a great Senator, Raphael Warnock, that y'all just heard from. He's the one who's here helping to protect Medicaid. He's the one who's here to protect all of our health care. You heard it straight from his mouth. We're spending more money on ICE than you are on any other agency, including our brave men and women in uniform who protect us. Look, to stand up to the Constitution means not bowing to power. This is not partisan. This is patriotic. So, I'm not going to be worn out. I'm going to get off this stage. Let me make sure that we're clear, that we're all on the same page. If you believe in our Constitution, say yes. Yes. The right to vote, say yes. Yes. And if you believe that no one, that literally no one is above the law, say yes. Yes. Then we need you. We need you to make sure that all of our protections in that Constitution is being upheld. It starts today. Doesn't end today, it starts today. And I'm looking around this crowd of all of these amazing Georgians. Give it up for all of you. We're going to make sure that they hear you. That Capitol right there, that gold dome, that's the people's house. That's where the laws are made. And that's where you belong. April 2nd is the last day of this legislature. If they're not voting for our bills, then vote them out. With that, one more, no kids.